Hi, welcome to the 2021 Jay Feather Micro 171BH. We're going to take you on a little virtual orientation here, and then we're going to start it on the outside of the trailer. First, we'll come to the front storage compartment. You'll see here that we have some switching for the lighting at the front of the trailer. We have a tire pressure gauge, as well as I'll show you in a minute. This unit comes with a bike stand. Also in the front storage compartment we have the manual cranks for the Stabilization Jacks and for the electric tongue jack. Also the 25-foot 30 amp power cord is also stored in the front compartment.
Talking a bit more about the Stabilization Jack, they're located on the four corners of the trailer,
and you will use the manual jack to extend them. You should never use them as a means to level the trailer, just as a means to stabilize once the trailer is mostly level. Right above here we'll notice the side running light here has this extra plastic piece in the front. This is actually a housing for a rear view camera. There's one at either side of the front of the trailer. They can be purchased separately. Next we'll come to the propane system. It's a double 30-pound bottles with a crossover regulator. What the crossover regulator does is, normally the handle's pointed in this direction to this tank. What this crossover regulator does, the regulator will draw from this tank until the pressure drops. Once the pressure drops between a predetermined amount, which is determined by the regulator itself, it will automatically cross over and draw from this tank, regardless of what this switch does. Very good if you're camping on cold nights and you don't have to go out in the middle of the night to switch bottles for your furnace. So we have your electric tongue jack, lights to help load at night, functioning here. And here is the port for the manual crank that we showed you in the front storage compartment there. So you just remove this port and you can put the crank down through the top of the bike rack. Now, this portion of the bike rack is also used to house the, or to receive the rack itself, which is in the front storage compartment. Simply place it in the tube, lock it with the pin, and you're ready to go. Notice your 12-volt battery leads, as this is the location of your battery storage. Now just below your propane on this side of the trailer, you'll see we have your breakaway safety switch. This safety switch will be hooked up to the tow vehicle and obviously to the trailer. In the event that the tow vehicle is separated from the trailer, it will engage the safety switch, which in turn engages the trailer brakes. If at some point you feel like it's not pulling right, or you feel like the brakes are engaged and it's not supposed to be, come and check this pin. It is possible that during hookup or something, or somebody tripped on it, it could have pulled the pin a little bit. Just check to make sure that's not what the issue is. Right beside there we have your solar ready hookup here, and this particular actually has the panels on the roof as well. So you're all ready to go for your solar power. The off-door access to the front storage compartment. What you'll see in here is a battery disconnect. It's very handy, so you can basically disconnect all power from the trailer other than at the input point. You'll see another one of the housings for the pre-wired camera, rear view camera. We have your outside access to your hot water tank. There's a few things that are important to note. One is the drain plug, which goes in here, and the pressure relief valve here. If you're ever removing this plug from here, make sure you activate the pressure relief valve. Otherwise, these things will shoot out of there like a rocket. Then the other thing to note in here is the reset for the hot water tank. Right next door to the hot water tank access, we have a few inlets here. This inlet is for your black water tank to clean. This is for your city water connection. This is where you basically put the garden hose from the campground. Right next to that we have your potable water, or your clean water tank, your fresh water tank. This is where you will put the hose to fill it up from your house or whatever it is that you're filling it. And then you would use it if you're, say, dry camping or camping where there isn't power or water. Continue on the outside, we'll come to the 30 amp power hookup. This is where you connect the power from the campground to the trailer. Continuing along, we have the output for your gray and black water tanks, as well as the valve handles and valves for the black and gray water tanks themselves. Also down here we have the storage for your sewer hose. This is in this tube at the back bottom of the trailer. Right up from there we have your cable satellite TV input for the trailer. And next door to that we have access to the bunk area and the storage area underneath the bunk from outside the trailer. Continuing along the back, you'll see we have ladder access to the roof, and this ladder is actually removable. And up underneath the ladder there's that little piece. That is actually another housing for a rear view camera. It allows you to see what's behind you while you're driving. Next, we'll come to your outdoor barbecue, or grill in this case. The grease tray. It's pretty simple to light. Turn it to the light position. It'll light on its own. I don't have it hooked up right now, so this particular one won't light, but you merely turn it to the light position, it'll expel gas and spark at the same time. Before you can do that though, this quick connect hose needs to be connected right here to this propane port. It's also important to note that this port is opened as it is now before you try to use it. We're almost done the tour of the outside. A few more things to note. One being the venting for your fridge. It's important that this is not covered or obstructed in any way, as there's vents in here that need airflow in order for the fridge to operate properly. You'll also see that we have two speakers underneath the awning. You can use the stereo inside to listen to music on the outside of the trailer under your awning. Next, come to Gfci plug and a cable output underneath your awning here. This allows for you to watch TV or anything like that underneath your awning. Also want to note that we have this brush guard all on the outside. Handy to keep some brush away from the edges of your trailer if you're doing a bit more remote camping. However, it is important to note that they're not meant to be stepped on. Well, let's make our way to the inside of the trailer and we'll see what we have in here. Well, first thing in the door, we'll note that there is a button here. It is a tank heater. And then right below that we have your fire extinguisher, a very important piece of safety equipment. And right up above this we have your monitor panel. Has your battery, fresh and black water tank levels. And then we have your switches for your hot water tank on, or heater on electric or gas, as well as switching for your water pump. You have your awning controls here, as well as the light for your awning and the main lights for the trailer. We'll take a look at the bedroom area first. Step back a bit and give you a better look. It's a nice little setup. We have your TV here, the storage bin above. Now this TV also has the radio capabilities, so you will be able to use this to play the radio or music in general. There is an option of zone 1, zone 2 with the remote for the TV. Zone 1 plays the noise, music, sound from the TV or radio inside the trailer, and zone 2 will play it outside the trailer. You can play either zone by itself, you can shut both zones off, or you can play them both together. Underneath here, you'll also see that we have these handy little ottomans that get stored. Can be used for a nice footrest, extra seating, whatever it is you need. And they also have storage. Two things that are important, usually very important to note, that most people want to know about. It's the hot water tank. The access to the hot water tank from the inside is here. There's two valves in the back that you'll need to toggle between bypassing the tank, the hot water tank, and running water to it. Obviously you'd run water to it when you want to use it with water, but if you're winterizing, you don't want to fill your hot water tank with antifreeze. It just costs you more antifreeze, so you bypass the tank. So access to that is underneath there. And your water pump has access underneath here. There's two screws, Red Robinson screws. You open that up and you have access to your water pump. Continue on. Take a look at your range. Your range is pretty simple. Turn this to the gas position or the light position. Then you turn this knob to light. You do that for all three. Moving on to the refrigerator. We'll note that you have an on-off button, and then there's a second button that's used to toggle between auto, which will automatically choose between gas or electric. It'll choose electric if available first, and gas only. If this check button or light flashes, when you're trying to light on gas, I would go back out front and make sure that you've opened the valves on the propane bottles. Or you may just have to turn it off and wait for a few seconds for enough pressure to build for the appliance to light.
Take a look down. We have your propane carbon monoxide detector. It's important that we test this every once in a while. We can do that via this button on the front here. I suggest every 6 months. That way you can do it daylight savings time at the same time that you do the smoke detector,
which is right here. So like I said about the carbon monoxide propane detector, test this every 6 months, daylight savings time. Probably a good idea just to change the batteries, but if you want to test it, you press and hold this center button for 3 to 5 seconds and it will sound an alarm. On the wall here, right beside these bunks, is your solar connection. So this gives you all the information about your solar power and solar panels, let you know the amp, voltage, basically lets you know everything's working as it should, and lets you know where your battery's at. Now also in the bunks, before I leave this area, just want to note that we do have USB charging capabilities. The last thing we check out here is the bathroom. It's a nice size. There's a little tub. Skylight is always nice. I like the skylights in the trailers, makes them much lighter. Oh, one more thing. It has to do with power and fuses and breakers and stuff. Is your unit Gfci. If this red light is on, that means it's tripped, and anything that's on the load side of this Gfci won't function. So that's probably your outside plug, your counter plugs, at the very least anyways. So if you ever have an issue with something not working, any plugs, electricity not working, check here, check the panel, but there's a good chance you might just have to hit the reset button, the light goes away, and then everything will probably work just fine for you. The last thing we'll talk about is your AC unit. It is right here. This unit doesn't have any venting or ducting, so all the cold air will come out here. If you open the baffles, it'll come out. Close it, it'll block it somewhat. For the most part, all the controls are done here. You turn the fan on here and control the temperature here. And the last thing I'm going to show you is your power center. Basically, this is where you'll find your breakers like you have in your house and the fuses like you might see in your car. Alright, thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this video somewhat informative at least. If we have any questions that we can answer for you, feel free to give us a call and we'll do our best to help you out. Thank you. Have a good day.